Hello and welcome to Vaesen, the Devil You Know. I am the Scarred Adventurer, the great and mighty narrator of this game. Uh, now our game is Vaesen, a Nordic horror role-playing. Our background art is from Pixabay, and our character art is from Marcia Joseph. Her Discord username is below or somewhere where you'll be able to contact her for any art you'd like to have done. Yeah. So now normally when we do our intro for our players, we all on the channel we do an intro for our players and we get right into that. However, what we're doing right at the beginning of this show is that we are going into our content warning. So now Best in Nordic horror role playing is just what it sounds like. It's a horror tabletop role playing game. We will be dealing with sensitive and potentially upsetting issues. Anything can happen in the story we are going to play out. Characters can die, they can be brutally hurt and traumatized, and we may deal with some fairly adult themes. My players all have an X card that they can play at any given time should something be too much, but you as the audience don't have that same power. So I want to warn you in advance. This is not a show for children, the faint of the heart, or those who are uncomfortable with horror-based themes. Now, I'm not asking you to not watch this show. In fact, I really want you to watch this show. Please, oh God, watch this show. I just want to prepare you for the worst, though. There is no shame in choosing something else to enjoy. Your safety is priority. Now, with all that having been said, if you choose to stick around, I really hope you enjoy what we're bringing you. Be good to yourself, and as we always say at Dirty 20 Gaming, please be nice to each other. Enjoy the show. Now, we're gonna drop all that I just said and move on to other stuff. So, each of these wonderful, slightly crazy people, and potentially more than slightly crazy, considering they agreed to join us for this game, uh, let's quickly get them to introduce themselves in the session we start. So please, as we begin, let us start with Rory or DJ Wrecker. Yeah, Rory,
Yeah.
please tell us what you do outside of this.
Yeah. So I mostly work on music and sometimes game. I'm hoping to try and start live streaming soon once I get stuff set up. But let me grab. I haven't been actually properly releasing stuff as much just because distributors are a royal pain. But SoundCloud usually where I post like work in progress or just stuff I haven't gotten to an actual platform like Spotify yet. So that's yeah, it's mostly music.
All right, awesome. So next we go on to Siosa. Please tell us what we do outside of. Sorry,
Uh,
please tell us what you do outside of this. Yes.
I'm mostly just a tabletop GM is the only social media presence I have. I've been running tabletop myself for my entire, well, since I was like 10 or so. But it's been a rare treat to get to be a player instead of forever GM. So I appreciate that.
That is why we invited you. Anyways, now we are going to go on to Sans Sarah. Please tell us what you do outside of this.
I somehow just deleted all my links, y'all. So, um,
Wonderful. Let's move on to Ruth.
I was gonna just say, just say it anyway.
I'm kidding.
Um, so yeah, if you wanna, you can find me here now 3 times a week. First on Tuesday on our Cyberpunk game, Carnage Heights, where I play Magic. Thursday game I run Fool's Gold, and I am here on Sundays. Um, I am also over on my own channel, Tango Productions, where I Twitch live stream video games on Mondays and Wednesdays. And I am hoping more is going to come out in the future on Tango Productions, the YouTube channel, as I am working with the wonderful Scar Adventurer on things. Yeah.
Even though that's
I
a
lost
perfect
my
transition
links.
for me to talk about me, let's go to Ruth.
Guys, I practiced. Hi, I'm Ruth. You can find me here on Tuesdays as Exit and Sundays as Anya. Otherwise, you won't be able to find me. Help.
Hooray! Excellent. So, once
Sorry.
don't worry. Once again, I'm the Scarred Adventurer, the narrator of this game. When I'm not narrating here on Sundays, I am here on Tuesdays as Red Death in our Cyberpunk Red campaign. I run by Bison Stonefist, wonderful, wonderful GM. Thursdays, I am Kurt Augustine, Warden, the Red Warden, weird dude in our Fool's Gold campaign, especially now that I'm back and doing stuff and trying not to be gone for like a month or two because I'm crazy. Anyways, that game is run by our wonderful, wonderful person, Sarah, who also plays Lily O'Connell here tonight. And finally, I'm working with Tango Productions, once again with Sarah, to eventually bring you stuff. So with that, we are going to jump into our current session. So last time, you guys were exploring the wonderful and crazy Castle Greenwood to learn a bit more about the Society of Drowson. As you guys were doing your thing, Charlie decided to sit down and read for a long time several books that may or may not become important later on. He just kind of went in the library and went, I recognize this. Ooh, first edition. Oh, and just read for a while. Anyways, enough about our wonderful Charlie and his book mania. That's not what it is. As you guys were sitting around the conference table, you were handed a letter by someone you didn't bother to ask who they are. I'm saying this now. You should have asked who he was, but he's gone now, so you know. Anyways, with that, Charlie comes into the room as you begin
Didn't
to
get
read the
time
letter.
to.
No, you had time to. You just chose not to. Anyways, from that, we are now going to we're going to look at the letter that was given to you guys by someone. It should all be in your on Roll20. You should all be able to see it. My players, not you, the people watching. You're going to have to deal with me just reading it to you. To whom I desperately hope this concerns. My name is Ocean McMullen. I run a logging company here in the town of Gulsey in Ireland. Several nights ago, I began to be followed by a mysterious figure on horseback. Though I've been unable to get a good look at the man, I can see what appear to be glowing red eyes coming from the horse. I spoke with a man coming through town looking for work at the factory, and accidentally let slip my predicament. They told me to write a letter to the Society of Drowson about the situation. I'm quite afraid and cannot quite properly explain my fear. Please find what this rider is and what he wants. I will not rest properly until the matter has been dealt with, proper-like. Please come to my aid, Ocean McMullen. The letter is dated from a few days ago. Getting there will take a cinematically appropriate amount of time, so now we join our protagonists as they begin their journey to the town of Gulsey in Ireland. Our group, after having sat down for a nice little chunk of time, I will give you guys the reins in your characters just a few seconds from now, but you know. Head towards their transportation. From here, they will ride back to Salaka, and Ever takes them into town, trying not to draw too much attention to themselves from the other citizens, as his appearance tends to be a little off-putting. Now that you've arrived back in town, is there anything that you need or want to do in the city before you hop on the boat to Ireland?
Quick refresher for me on how purchasing stuff works.
Ah, yes, purchasing stuff. Essentially, you can use... This is why I keep everything open, and then second I'm asked, I lose everything, because I am just the best at this. I'm not down-talking myself, there's so much stuff. I'm sorry, I don't want to suck any penises at the moment.
Womp womp.
So, equipment has between a level of 1 and 5 that indicates its availability and how easy it is to acquire. Equipment is mostly obtained through contacts and status, represented by your resources value in page 22. The party is expected to procure equipment for the expedition at the start of the mystery before you head out. It is part of the preparatory phase. Each player rolls the number of dice indicated by their character's resource value. The number of successes is used to purchase equipment. For example, an item with an availability of 1 costs 1 success, while another with 3 costs 3 successes. You can donate successes to each other or add them together to purchase higher level equipment and decide amongst yourself who will carry the equipment, regardless of who successfully pays for it. Each player may also decide to move points from their free capital, but then they will have less money to spend during the mystery itself.
Okay.
So while what I generally suggest is that you use your resource value and roll to pool together what you have, while also remembering that what you have in your resources, if you have a 1 in resources, then you are essentially destitute. And we'll take a -1 bonus to what you roll in all honesty.
Ooh.
But with
Okay.
if you have 3 or more, then you have 1 capital. If you have 3, you start with 1 capital that you can spend during the mystery itself in towns and such. Most of the stuff will be taken care of for the most part, i.e., you won't have to worry too much about buying room for an inn for how long you're staying. You'll just be able to get into the inn, and it will be mostly taken care of. But for actual equipment and things that you may suddenly realize you need, such as armor or equipment such as crowbars, lockpicks, traps for hunting and hunting equipment, uh, basic things you might want to have during your mystery, to more complicated things like weapons, melee, ranged, and so on.
Okay.
And even then, you can purchase specific services and establishments should you need them, such as a quack or felcher to heal broken, a doctor who heals broken in one mental condition, but you already have a doctor, so that's something you will be less likely to be needing to spend money on.
Okay.
But I'm letting you know you do not need to worry about shelter or a hostel, as the overnight accommodation with opportunities for rest or medical aid. For the simple fact, just having overnight accommodations and meal at the beginning of the day, you don't have to worry about that, because that would be a little unpleasant to always have to worry about.
Okay. I found
So
the
am I correct in assuming that we don't need to worry about any kind of like board or fare, food on the trip, etc.? That's all
No,
covered
no.
under the sort of course
You
of the
guys are the
adventure.
Society of Drowson. It is always covered.
Okay.
Okay.
But the Society of Drowson doesn't cover weapons of any kind.
No, the Society of Drowson, for any real equipment, that's
Understood.
something you have to pay for yourself. Because while the Society does have stuff, it's been fairly destitute. The name still carries weight. But
Okay.
but the weight that it carries is really just reputation.
Yeah.
It will not. Your name has no cachet.
Gotcha. Okay.
Just as a general metagame question, is that something
Yes.
that we can change by investing into the castle itself? Can we
Yes.
like get an armory so that we don't need to worry about purchasing weapons in the future?
Absolutely.
Okay.
In fact, later on, not quite this episode, but for later on, once you return, you will gain access to the Castle Greenwood headquarters sheet, which will
Nice.
allow you to go over your facilities, your discovered facilities, personnel, and contacts, as well as spending development points that you gain from mysteries into
Ooh.
developing your base of operations.
This is reminding me so much of Darkest Dungeons. It's so much fun. Anyways, you mentioned
It is similar. Yeah.
buying
you're right.
stuff. Yeah.
So if you want to go and buy something,
Yeah.
Whoever is buying stuff, Lily will give whatever resources necessary for it, even though she
Alright.
only has 1.
You only have 1 resource?
Mm-hmm.
I have 4.
Yes.
What do I have? I think I have 3.
Bye.
Yeah.
By going into your, for the sake of this,
Mm-hmm.
I will use a kind of a dummy character sheet as an example of this. If you want to figure out what you have for resources to actually spend on things, please feel free to click your resources button, which is in your character sheet underneath attributes. For that, it will roll something. You will gain no modifiers unless you are only 1, which is a destitute, which will give you a -1, and then any resource you collect.
Okay.
So currently you have 2 resources you can spend on things. Wait, no, that's 1 resource. I used the dummy example. However, I will because we were doing this as an example, if you want, I will give you a mulligan.
I'll take it. Never mind.
Womp womp.
Cool.
Whoopsies. Oh well.
For those watching and who can see our wonderful Roll20 chat that we are doing our tabletop on, every time the way that a success is determined is by rolling a 6. Anything lower than a 6 is considered a failure. Anything above a 6 doesn't exist. So right now you are sitting nice and cozy, unless our wonderful Ciosa wants to, or Charlie wants to re-roll, then you are sitting currently with 3 resources.
Can I keep the one that I had?
Spend up. Yes.
'Cause
You
I
can't
don't-
if you re-roll, then you lose that one that you had.
Yeah, I don't anticipate doing better.
Yes. So right now you have 3 resources if you pool them together, which I would suggest
Gotcha.
doing. But you know, who am I to say? I'm just the mighty god of this universe. This is definitely not giving me a big head.
During the time that Charlie was reading, I don't know if there was anybody that caught sight of him doing it because they were exploring the rest of the castle, but he was also writing at the table that was in the center of the library.
Creature absolutely would have been watching.
Okay.
As the librarian, he's there in the library and would actually have provided you paper if you needed any.
He's probably surprised how much Charlie goes through in a matter of like an afternoon. But by the time everybody's like headed out and headed into the city, Charlie has like a small envelope that's filled with like the folded sheets of paper that he simply like drops anonymously into one of the printing presses.
Okay. Yeah. If I may, what is said on these pieces of paper that you have dropped in the printing press?
It's
Or is it something that you want to send later?
It's the like latest version of like the chain story that he's been working on that has been
Okay.
continually published and is kind of gaining increased publicity with each new piece, since he knows he might be gone for a while.
All right. So creature definitely would have been watching you write then, and also would have been reading along, very enthralled with your wonderful serial that you've been writing. As you can see, many copies were already there in the library as well. He's clearly a fan. With that, you've dropped those off, and by the time you return from your mystery,
I was just rolling that for like a general quality check.
yeah, you did it. They are on track to become your next best-selling book.
Except he doesn't sell it, he gives it away.
Well, of course he does, but that doesn't mean the people that he drops it off to aren't selling it for like a penny.
Yeah.
Because paper costs money and there's resources things, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it is on track to be your most well-loved piece.
While in town, because she has all of her medical instruments, and like she definitely would have stuff to wrap wounds and make tourniquets and
Yes.
stuff like that. She's just going to replenish her. I would
Kind of re-up her supply.
yeah, specifically on analgesics, pain medication,
Okay.
and she already has stuff for like fever and stuff. So
All right, sounds good.
So, quick question. One of the items that I have is part of my equipment is a camera, and I'm just sort of curious as to like the level of sophistication since I'm not quite clear what year we're in.
You know, it's general 1800s.
So we're talking like the cloth over the head wouldn't stand kind of 10
More
minutes for
likely to that,
development.
yes. Yeah.
Okay. Hold still for 20 minutes.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those, you have it, and you have a more compact version that allows you. It's a little top of the line. Someone who found out that you were writing these serial novels managed to convince you to take it.
Okay.
So you don't need to stand and wait for the subject to stand there for 10 minutes. You can now just take a photo and it'll develop. But you still need to bring it to a dark room and develop it. That part is a given.
Yeah.
But you're able to take photos more on the fly. So, is there anything that you guys are looking to buy before you go off on your adventure that you know that you'll want?
I was looking through the like equipment list in the PDF we have.
Absolutely.
I saw magnifying glass, which could be helpful. Just like more investigation, which is nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we're probably relatively kitted up to do our first like mission type thing.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Lily has a guess at what this could be, but
And
she's
what is
really unsure,
okay?
and she has no clue what to do, like how to handle it. And she's this has this moment of like, do we go back and like research this more? And before we go, like, do we need to like get more information? Like,
Anya
So
does have her book that she didn't talk to anyone about. So in
so
time will tell.
I will let you know that between now and getting to Gulsey, this is including the time that you're spending now. You'll have some time to prep things that you might need for the mystery. These things are the things that you're doing for this preparation can be fairly nondescript and can be expanded upon when you need to access your prep. You can hone your skills, look for clues in the note, or procure equipment before arriving to town, or prepare ideas to use with your fellow society members. If you're planning to do a combat and you decide, I'll throw sand in their face and then you shoot them, sort of thing. That is something you can prep as well. Uh, each one of you has essentially one of these preparatory pieces. You have each one of you will have an advantage, is what I'm trying to say, for this mystery. But the advantage does not need to be decided upon now, and what exactly it is. The advantage can also be decided and explained in a flashback of, while I was at the market, I saw this wonderful thing. It called out to me and caused me to think, well, this might be useful. I don't know why it'll be useful, but it might.
okay.
So while you are looking at things, I'll give you guys a bit more time as well on your own to check out some of the stuff. But for the most part, a lot of these things, the things to remember right now is that you have 3 points of resources that you can spend on things. And that given your I'm clicking so many things and I have to like swap between a lot of them. I'm not complaining, I'm just saying. Uh considering the fact that you have 2 people that will have capital for this mission as well. The 3 resources are things that you can only spend on the equipment. However, the capital that you have can be used in town on things like equipment if you need them, or services and establishments. while in the town. You cannot spend the resources that you have on services and establishment, but if there's something that you realize that you might want in the middle of it, you are absolutely permitted to suddenly say, I need this. Can I find a shop in town? Whether or not I'll give you that shop in town is another thing altogether, but that's you can totally do that. Thank you as well to our wonderful audience for putting up with this and us, because we are all learning together. It's a fun game.
Okay.
I'm sorry, where is the equipment list? Is it in the Roll20
It
itself?
is
Or?
no, unfortunately. I'll try to make a good equipment list for you guys to find in Roll20 as well sometime. But it is in the PDFs that I sent you early on during the character creation process.
Okay, cool.
They will be pages 74, 75, 76, and 77.
So yeah, what Charlie is gonna pick up something then. I'll probably like reveal it on the boat if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I assume. Yeah, I'll just look up and see if it's within the reasonable cost for what I have.
What is it? Or send me like a DM or something, and I'll.
No, well, I mean, we can just kind of like cut to the boat of like once we're en route,
Yeah.
he'll set down shot and powder that looks like it's like sized fairly accurately for Agate's rifle.
Okay. Essentially
But it's
ammunition.
like, yeah, it's extra rounds, you know, and whatnot. There's also like 2 or 3 like just like wooden like buoys that would be like small things that could work as targets on the ocean. Something
Okay.
that he learned when he was like on a ship. Charlie is like surprisingly adept at, like, he has a sea legs like instantly. He's clearly sailed before. But he just kind of like sets him down by Agate, and he says, "It's been a while since I've handled a rifle, but would mind some practice if you don't mind letting me make use of your rifle."
Oh yes, pardon me. I do need to clean it. Have not cleaned out the barrel in a few days, but yes, of course. I'd be
With that, I
more than
will
happy
take
to help.
away one resource, but otherwise,
Yeah, Charlie's also clearly like familiar with the rifle, so he like is happy to like hand off like the picks and the rags, like kind of in the order that he's going to need them as he's cleaning, just to expedite the process. He's not trying to do it for him, and he doesn't touch the actual rifle itself without permission. So
yeah, spend some time trading shots at these little targets.
all right. If the general consensus is to be on the boat, then I will give you a little bit of information as well. While you're on the boat, Everett has said goodbye to you guys and left you with someone who's worked with that he said has worked with the society prior, but is themselves not part of the society. So who you meet on board is a lovely captain named Captain Monty Kane. I would like everyone right now, and when people come back, to give me an observation roll.
2 successes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you succeed. You definitely succeed. Another major success. So it would appear the only person that does not see it at the moment is Agate. But to Charlie and Lily, when you look at him, you can see his pupils look weird. Like they're wrong. They clearly are not human. Because they're horizontal. And his skin seems to be a little green and perpetually wet.
So his pupils are horizontal and slitted, like in the way that like a cat's would be, but sideways.
Almost
No,
like a
not
squid.
less like a bit more like a squid, but less like a cat. They're not slitted. They're like they're oblong.
Oval. Yeah.
Yeah. Almost like if you were to just cut out a rectangle and slap that onto an eye instead of a pupil.
Okay.
And with the 2 successes, I'll also give it to you. They're frog pupils.
Okay.
Agate doesn't notice this whatsoever. But you two definitely notice the fact that he is likely not human.
Oh, go ahead.
All Charlie's kind of doing is like making eye contact with Lily, looking at him, kind of like, doing like the head nod, but like that's it. He's not saying anything else on the boat.
Yeah, Lily is going to have Ed away, or at least away as much as that cat can be. And she pulls a card.
Wonderful. Tell me what it is and what position it's in. Upside down or right side up.
Death upright.
Big change is coming.
And what's funny is that this one, it's a horse with red eyes.
Well,
Like from the letter. I'm just.
Yep. Okay, so that's a thing that is definitely important to the mystery going forward. Right now, maybe not. But yeah.
Just to look at it. Bloody hell. And puts it away.
Whether or not you share this with anyone may help indicate things as well, but that's something else.
Once they're away
when-
from the person she doesn't know, she'll
Yeah.
talk to her team, but not before.
But you do get a lovely greeting from Monty Kane. Just hello and welcome. It's great to see everyone on the ship. We'll be heading seaward in a moment. So I hope you're all ready and you're all happy and you're all, prepared for what's going to happen. And be ready. The seas can be a little choppy, but don't worry. I'll sail you through them. I love the sea. And then he leaves you guys to your devices, unless you
Charlie
guys
just
approach him to
shudders
talk
at
to
I
him.
love the sea.
So yeah, no, you guys. Another crewman comes over and shows you to the room you'll be staying in on the ship. Fairly simple bunk beds and hammocks. Nothing that at least one of you hasn't been familiar with. It's not a particularly nice ship, but it's not unkempt. It's just not very expensive. Oh, last thing. Sorry. Before you guys all went, Creature handed Charlie a set of Rocky Talkies, as what he called them, and said you can use these, and metagaming wise, you can use them once during your mystery to call back to Creature and ask for some advice and some help in your current mystery. Otherwise, those Rocky Talkies are not going to be very useful unless you use them, but they can only really be used once per time. Otherwise, they need to be recharged. So on and so forth. I'm talking too much.
Once Lily feels as if they are alone in the room, she'll look to everyone. So I don't know how bad this is going to be, but I pulled a card getting on the ship, and it was death.
I'd imagine that is not great sign.
I agree. That's why I'm bringing it up.
It's good to know. Keep eyes peeled, so to speak.
Interesting.
Let's just try and keep our heads about us.
Death doesn't bother me quite that much.
With that having been said and shared amongst yourselves, the boat starts going. And like I said, it goes for a cinematically appropriate amount of time. But halfway to Ireland, you guys
Oh,
get hit by
sorry. Oh, you go.
halfway to Ireland, you are hit by a massive storm. Uh, and while for the most part your ship trip has been fine and calm and rife with suspicion against your captain, uh, your captain and a few crew members actually come in to the room and go, "We're going to need your help with this."
Charlie's already up on his feet.
If we don't manage to keep the boat afloat, then things will end up very badly for you people.
At some point, Anya would have noticed Charlie and the dislike of the boat. Kind of just, are you nauseous?
Shakes his head.
All right. I have something for that.
Appreciate it. Says it's not nausea. But like once the actual storm hits and the captain's asking for aid, he's like out and wherever he's needed, like whether it's up in the rigging or like bailing water. He's not just like familiar with boats. He's been through storms, you know, on several different ships before. He has a fairly good idea what's needed before he's asked, but he's also listening to the captain's orders, responding with like the trained like sailor soldier kind of speed. So
All right. I would like you to roll me some lovely, lovely force and vigilance. We'll take those two together.
All of us?
Charlie. Actually, no, all of you, but I'll give Charlie a +1 to both of those rolls, having been so adept at being on at sea before.
2 successes.
All right. 2 successes from Charlie as well. I do need you to roll force as well, though, Lily.
Oh no.
All right.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll just get up and follow whatever the captain tells me to do.
Lily's staying below deck and meditating just so that she doesn't vomit.
Okay.
Do you need something for that?
Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in and breathe out.
Anya just sort of holds out a pill. It should help.
So Charlie is immediately adept at being told where to go and fixing the things that need to be fixed. And is actually picking up the slack for a couple of you who aren't able to be as useful physically. However, he's not noticing things that maybe should be noticed as much. But given Anya and Lily's 2 successes in vigilance, those things are quickly relayed to the captain, which are relayed back to Charlie, and things go as well as possible. Things can go about as well as possible. Agate is also very helpful, but he feels like he might not have been as useful as Anya and Lily were. Just an inkling he has, you know. But with that, after a few hours of this horrible storm, it finally begins to let up. And for the most part, there was only one casualty, which was one of the crewmates got hit by just the boat made a very sudden rocking motion, and he slammed his neck into the side of the ship. They were all Captain Mon Kane comes in and says thank you to everyone and is actually very proud of all the work you've done. Just with your help and everything you've done, we've managed to keep the casualties to a minimum. So thank you.
Anya's gonna check for anyone that may have been injured.
I'll send you to the medical area in a minute. Minute there, lass. So for now, I just want to say you've done good, and we'll be arriving in Ireland soon. From there, we'll set you up with a car to get to Gulsey, and then you'll be on your very merry way for Drowson. Now, and he
Passage.
walk. Sorry?
Thank you for the passage.
Absolutely. Anything for the Society of Drowson. And he walks over to the body that you can still see and sort of just tips it over the ship. We still have a few days travel, and we can't keep any dead. We can't keep the dead on board. They'll only slow us down. It's a shame. I liked Michael. And with that, you guys managed to do the rest of that without. You managed to get to the rest of the way to Gulsey and to Ireland. To Ireland, then Gulsey, with very little issue.
Also, during the storm, from Lily, a lot of it would have been, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
I have so many things I want to say. Anyways,
Anya
with
would have been like, just relax. You're doing your best.
you are, however, you have now all arrived in Gulsey. There is one small problem you've now realized. Now you've arrived in Gulsey. You don't know where the hell you're supposed to go to find Ocean.
To find ocean or to find the logging camp? I thought we were looking for the logging camp here.
You are looking for the logging camp. The guy who runs it, his name is Ocean.
Oh,
Oisin.
I was hearing OCAN. I was like, we don't need to get back to the water yet, do we?
I know. I love
Plus,
that. That was
plus it's
great.
Ireland.
Thank
If you walk in any direction long enough, you'll get to it.
I mean, you'll get to the CO1 direction, but yeah, otherwise.
Is Gulsey small? And has Lily been here
Gulsey-
before?
No, Lily's not been here before,
Okay,
but
good.
Gulsey is a relatively small community.
Where's the nearest inn?
The nearest inn is not
Is-
very apparent. You will likely have to talk to a random walking by townsfolk.
Can we pause and back up to like on the way to Gulsey?
Yes.
We're in a cart, yes, but like, are we guiding it or is there somebody driving it?
Oh, you said we're going to Gulsey, and someone went, I know where Gulsey is. Don't worry,
Okay.
we'll get you there and I'll get you there in a lovely snap.
All right, then I'm guessing the time that we would have that's closest to privacy where we weren't on the ship with the Vaesen and whatnot would be before we actually found the cart, which would be the point where he would be asking Lily, like, you said you had an idea of what it was we were up against.
I mean, I do, but I don't know anything about it. I've only heard stories about most spirits. I when I can, I try to avoid further conversation with them. Have you ever heard of a Doulahan?
Can't say I have.
From my understanding, it's a vengeful type of spirit that rides a horse and doesn't have a head.
I have similar story where my family from is. I agree. Many people in my old town thought they see this strange headless headless horse rider. He's very scary sounding to me. Hope is not as violent as the story from my home says is.
Generally, those without a head aren't really going anywhere.
Nay, they aren't, but
I would think that skeletons are good at handling libraries either, but
Skeletons.
spirits don't always need the same, you know, parts that we do.
It's going to take me a while to fully adjust to the spirits thing.
It's understandable.
I'm just used to dealing with the cadavers.
we're here in a port, and if these things are stories that come from this area, then maybe people will have heard more about them. Maybe there'll be some clue as to what can stop them or what they need or want.
I believe when we get into town, we need to find and talk to as many people as we can. Hopefully by then we'll have a little bit more of an idea. If it is chasing people, then it might be looking for a victim.
I'm gonna check the book really quick. She's gonna see if there's anything new.
A little bit. There is now a titled page named Doulahan. But underneath, there is very little information about anything. There's the suggestion that there's a picture of a headless man riding a horse. And the horse, the eyes on the book itself, they seem to be going, are they supposed to be red or are they supposed to be regular horse eyes? They can't seem to fully make up their mind. But through these stories that you are hearing of this creature, more stuff is filled in as your companions talk about what they know about this Doulahan. Whether or not what you're going to find in this town is a Doulahan itself is a different matter altogether. But what is filled out in the book is what your companions are talking about.
Right. She's going to take that into account. If I'm not sure if what the Doulahan is exactly what we're going to be dealing with, but there is a chance. This book I have was in my room. It seems to fill itself out with information of Vaesen I've encountered and started filling itself out with information you guys were talking about. So
You even look briefly at you look at the book once again briefly, and you see that there is actually next to the page on the Doulahan, there's a page that doesn't have a title piece, but it has something that looks very similar to the captain of the ship that you were just on. Information about it is very sparse. With the exception of while you were on the ship, you did hear a lot of music being played. And so there is a brief thing that says fondness for music, ? But that is as much as you know about about that creature and about the ship's captain and whatever other creatures are being mentioned.
right.
Charlie will ask, and if the book fills out with anything that it's just she's personally encountered or heard of.
Well, I first assumed that it was just encounter, but with the limited information that came across the page from you guys talking about what creature this creature maybe it's also heard, not just encountered. But it doesn't go fully into detail about the creature. It's hard to explain. I'm trying to wrap my head around everything as is, so yeah.
Harry will fish into his bag of books and pull out like his first two journals, and he'll like open one of them up to the drawing that he has of the creature that he encountered when he first like came back from well, not the dead, but being knocked unconscious. There were like collections of basically ghoul-like creatures that were around the battlefield where he had fought. He was watching them devour human remains. He has very vivid drawings of them, as well as descriptions of his own memories that are included in the journal. And he's kind of watching her book as she's reading to see if it transcribes itself.
As I'm
It
reading,
does.
I'm flipping the book to find what page it may be on. Or do they go in order of
The book, you somehow instinctively know exactly which page you need to be on. Why? Yeah, better you don't ask. Uh, but you seem to look at the page and then turn to what seems like to everyone else a random page, but it does now have information on this creature. All the eyewitness account of Charlie. The only thing it seems to be lacking is a name.
interesting.
Just for my own curiosity, is the writing that's in the book, is it printed or does it look like it's handwritten by something else?
It's printed.
Like it's he'll close the journal and like take it back. But as they're like in the cart ride on the way up, he's occasionally kind of like flipping through the journal. There's obviously like entries and recordings and stuff like that, but every single time he's encountered a spirit of any kind, he's drawn it. And so he's just kind of flipping it, showing it. Just anything he's seen hiding in a corner or sitting on a rooftop or
And she has the book out, flipping it, looking at it.
Anytime you have a name for the thing written, it does show up as the title. However, if it isn't the proper name for the creature, it shows up as a question mark. For something very simple that you may have, something very simple like ghost that you wrote. And thank you, that was a lovely sound effect.
Sorry, pardon me.
ghostly hauntings.
I didn't expect it to be such a lass like you. Good evening then, says your coach driver.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that one.
But as things are being filled in, one that you have correct is you just have the word ghost written. And all the information that you have has been written into the book and is written correctly as just ghost. Anything else that you've written and you've come up with strange names like Tabershanty or Bone Gnawer just appear as question marks. Appear with question marks, that's what you know what I meant.
I'm envious you're gonna have quite the collection of ghost stories by the time we're done.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe ghosts have tried to reach out for me before. I don't know. Um,
You
or
do
maybe
have
it
a
was just lack of sleep. It's probably lack of sleep. Yeah.
I would like vigilance rolls from everyone. Because right now she has a page open to a corpse, to just a picture of a corpse that sits up on a table. Oh, you guys are killing it today.
Oh,
no success.
she.
Ooh.
So
would I-
unless if you don't want to be watching your book or notice it, then you don't have to notice it.
Oh, she would. She would notice it.
Then you are going to roll the vigilance.
Yeah. Would I
Technically,
get
Lily is
any
playing with her-
modifiers to it?
You don't get any modifiers to this because you're talking to everyone else. It's one of those, it's in the corner of your eye that you'd see it.
But she'd recognize it.
If you suddenly start,
I'll just
you're
roll
already
it
on a
without
page with
it.
you were already on the page with writing on it. So you do notice it though.
Lily's playing
And with
her-
the lack of sleep is what you said. That it may have just been lack of sleep. And then the second you say that, both Charlie and Anya notice something gets written in and then disappears before you manage to look at it more closely. To Agate, however, you were able to very clearly see the words, "It wasn't lack of sleep," written in this book and then disappearing, along with a crude picture of someone rolling their eyes, but that was something else.
It seems that you have found a very interesting book. Wonder if maybe one day we'll find out why it read by itself. Who knows? Maybe.
It was in my room when we arrived.
Then
And-
pleasant welcome gift, I suppose.
Just to add a little bit to what just happened, the reason Anya and Charlie didn't see it as well, Agate, time seemed to slow for you. When you were looking at it, suddenly the vision that is normally just one single eye seeing things became both eyes, like you used to see. But but your missing eye is now almost like it's zooming in to see what was written.
It like blinks really hard a couple times.
Second you blink, it goes away, but
Oh. Adjust his eye patch a bit and kind of.
you need to make sure you air that thing out every once in a while. Don't want to get eye mushrooms.
Oh yeah.
But with that, you are now in the town of Gulsey. When you're in the town, you kind of just arrive in the town square. You've arrived in the town square and you are just trying to see. There doesn't seem to be much going. There seems to be a little bit of a commotion, but you're not certain what it's about. As people are yelling at some sort of figurehead, and this same figurehead trying to calm them all down. What do you approach the group? That is,
Charlie's trying to drift like quietly closer. Like, he wants to
Yeah.
hear what's going on without attracting the attention of a mob.
Roll stealth.
Yeah, kind of like hop off
Okay,
the
can we all
carts.
roll stealth? Because that's what Lily's gonna do. Is
Everyone who's
Yeah.
trying to be
no success.
Thank the guy for our passage and continue.
Cat.
okay.
Literally my highest stat in nothing.
So, yeah. So Charlie, you managed to sneak in pretty nonchalantly. There's maybe like one person who looks at it and goes, "Who is this person?" But the second that thought pops into their mind, they go, "Ah, forget it. I don't care." Same thing happens for Anya. Agate, these people are mistaking you for someone they know. Going like, "Are you seeing this shit? Just come on. Are you seeing this? Come on." And they look at you dead in the eyes, like, "Oh yeah, I know who you are. You seeing this though?" And you just kind of go, "Yeah, I'm seeing it. I don't know what's going on."
It's crazy, man. What the? Oh,
And it's like you've been in that crowd the entire time. Lily, your high heel gets caught in a cobblestone and you fall down.
Perfect. Yeah. Even though she wasn't wearing.
Your toe of your boot gets caught in a cobblestone
Yep. Yep.
there's
and
just
you
like
fall
there's just like
down.
one sharp
A
one
couple
that the
people
Masons
stop.
forgot about.
Turn around and look to see if you are okay. For the most part, you are. You have a bit of a bloody nose, but that's about it. Nothing to actually take a condition for. If this was D&D, you'd roll 1d4 damage.
Charlie is absolutely giving up any like pretense of stealth to go help Rob.
Yeah.
Being like already kind of in the middle of all these people, like once he's kind of like addressed the people, like, "Are you seeing this shit? Like, what's going on here?" He kind of like leans over to someone. I missed what happened earlier. What is all commotion?
Oh, look, this weird horse guy keeps showing up in the middle of the night, and like sometimes we hear clip-clopping hooves. We open our doors and we're just covered in blood. I don't know what's going on. I'm
Oh.
just, I am
Anya's looking
unhappy.
at the book.
It's filling with that information. If you're standing close enough to Agate to hear this as well.
Standing decently close. Also, when Lily falls, she kind of moves her body to like half cover her.
So fewer people see it. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I've heard many stories from all over the place of this character sneaking up on people.
Yeah, look, we don't know
Many
what it
horrible
is.
things.
A few of us think it might be some of the local kids. Lots of sounds today.
It's very loud over here.
Some of us think it might be the local kids. We don't know what's going on. I mean, just like we're frustrated, and the mayor doesn't seem to be doing anything about it.
Has the mayor not seen this horse thing? Is that
No,
maybe why
no,
it doesn't believe us?
I don't know. It seems to be happening a lot more around the industrial district. Like Mayor Kursick just doesn't seem to be caring.
You know how the mayors can be, right? Huh? Yeah, it's crazy stuff.
Yeah. Anyways, you just watch yourself, friend.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to yelling obscenities. You mother. And they continue to yell obscenities.
All right.
So, Agate, you feel like you've gotten all you can get from this crowd. Lily, a small crowd of people have now gathered around you.
Yeah, she's just. It is the most obvious. Help me moment.
Is it one of those moments where you kind of like grab your knee and just go?
No, it is the moment of everyone stop looking at me and just like leave me alone. I do not need this type of attention. Oh my god, where is somebody else to get these people off of me?
Okay.
Charlie will look to like the people that are getting closer, and say, we're looking for Ocean McMullen.
A few people hear this name, and they let in a very they let in kind of like a very loud like breath pulling through their teeth. They go, "Oh, Ocean. Okay, yeah, you'll find him. You'll find him at the Tranquil Pine Mill." And with that, like having heard Ocean's name, some people are kind of just backing away from you now, and they're kind of going, I don't. These people are wanting to talk to him. I don't really want to deal with these people."
Is he that kind of a boss then?
One person kind of looks at you and goes, "He's been getting worse."
Worse?
Yeah. Just a little bit before all this stuff started, he's just been he's just kind of been getting meaner and ruder, and was a little bit more into the profit stuffs. I don't know if I should be saying this right now.
No.
This is where you can use your either manipulation or inspiration to kind of drag some more information out of him.
I'm using my inspiration.
Same. No success! Come on! Can I try again with manipulation?
No. He goes, "I don't really think I should be talking to you guys about it. I'm sorry." And then he just leaves.
Yeah. And Charlie like respects it. But he kind of like before you go, there is just one more question I have. You said before all this started happening. Do you know when it started happening?
Well, it took you a cinematic amount of time to get here, which was about a week. So the time this started was about 2 weeks ago.
I won't ask you to say anything more about your boss. I understand.
Yeah, look, I don't know what gets back to him. I don't want to get back to, I don't want to. Yeah.
I'll kind of offer a kerchief to Lily. Kind of gesture at her nose.
Thank you. Takes it, wipes it.
Should probably find a place to stay. And
Oh, in the meantime, I've just kind of been scanning the roads leaving for any kind of signage, just to see if there's if I can get like a general idea of where stuff might be.
Well, also while you were there, there are signs for the roads. There are a few signs. You see some major roads, signs for some roads, and you know a few of them. These roads are Greenfield, Bard, and Parkside Street.
Okay, more just like route markers than anything else.
More route markers than anything else, unless you know where
Gotcha.
things. There's nothing that says Mayor's house this way.
Yeah. Okay.
are you talking like a town that's like small enough to basically be a company town that like there's the logging and then everything to support the logging, but nothing else?
There's the logging, and there's for a town like this, it seems that the logging is a fairly new addition.
Okay. So
It
it's
seems that
one
the
part
town
of
was
the
here
industry is
before.
the Zobel.
Yes. They seem to be primarily growing wheat, and it's primarily wheat. There are other things that are grown at certain farms and things like that, but it seems that they primarily export wheat. That's what you gathered from your coach driver. Because he was talkative. Although he didn't He didn't really listen to anything you guys were saying. He was just talking, and you guys didn't really listen to all he said, but you picked up a couple things. With that,
Oh,
nope,
I was gonna
go
say,
on.
as they're walking to find Ocean, I guess, because like that's our next place, right?
That's one of the places.
I was thinking we find a place to stay and see if we can
Okay.
find out a little bit more about everything that's happened before we talk to him.
Yeah.
The crowd seems to be dissipating a bit, knowing that the mayor doesn't seem to be really realizing the futility of yelling at the mayor for something it doesn't seem he can do anything about. There's the occasional townsperson you can ask for directions to some major things. Because even though this is a town that primarily exports wheat, they still enjoy the occasional visitor.
Do they have like an inn, or do they have like people who are known to rent rooms and stuff from their homes?
Well, let's ask one of the many townspeople. Whoever wants to can stop this about a medium height brown haired individual with some fairly basic farmer's clothes.
Oh, hi there.
Oh, howdy. Hello. Yes. Hello.
Um, wait 1 minute, sorry. This is me forgetting what exactly we're asking for. We're asking where.
A
And
place to stay.
Do you know of anywhere for travelers to stay
Oh,
in?
oh, you're looking for the local pub. I'd head over to the Snoring Pan Flute. Oh, it's run by Mrs. O'Hallahan. She's a lovely lady. Makes a delicious mince pie. And he starts going into details that you don't really need
Could
or
I
want.
could I get directions?
Oh, yeah, to this. Yeah, of course. I was just about to head over to the Snoring Pan Flute myself, anyways. It's what you call it here in Ireland. It's sad hour, you know. Anyways, let's get it going.
All right.
And he starts walking, whether or not you are following him, already towards the Snoring Pan Flute, found on Bard Street.
As soon as he starts going, Anya's gonna follow.
Lily will also just follow because
I'm
Same.
just assuming everyone's going.
Okay.
So once you arrive, there's a lovely. It seems that someone actually took some logs of a younger tree and created a little pan flute that sits right above the doors to the establishment. As you walk in, it's not quite lively, but not quite dead. And a just a nice. Sorry, my brain stopped. Hello? Uh, all right.
As soon as you said hello, your webcam like refocused.
I noticed.
Like
It was
perfect
great.
timing.
But once you get in, it's a fairly medium crowd of people. And they're just kind of talking. From some of the conversation you're gathering, some of it's being talked about the local harvest coming in, the logging being done, and just some complaints about the foreman, and some general disquiet.
Is the foreman Ocean?
No. You hear a different name, Roche.
I'm listening and what's being said about him. If it's the same thing, like growing temperamental and stuff.
It seems that Roche is being a little temperamental, but they're less they seem to be more forgiving about him due to the fact that it they due to the fact they seem less harsh on Roche because they've seen Oshin yell at him. And they know that he's getting a little more on them because he's being got on so badly. So they're a little bit more forgiving. However, they're not fully forgiving. This is vigilance because you're actually looking for it. So, Charlie, I'd like you to give me a vigilance. All right.
Just out of curiosity, comparatively, when is observation rolled compared to vigilance?
Observation I'm using is a bit more passive, whereas vigilance requires constants.
Okay.
And a bit more effort being put into it. Because if you're not vigilant, then you're not paying attention to things. But if you're observing things, everyone observes things, whether or not they actually maintain, get caught, and stay in someone's brain is something different. Granted, I could be doing this entirely wrong, but
I had wondered if it was meant that like one was going to be more social and one was more physical. Given that one's linked to
one's
empathy
built to
and the other
logic
one's
and
linked
one's
to
built
logic.
to yes. This is more logical that you're looking for because you're trying to dissect what people are saying.
Mhm.
Not how they're saying it, what they're saying.
Yep.
You hear from one of the people. It all started that week when he got that box. Like, what the hell has been with Ocean since then? And I don't even know. It was like, who was that man who came in and did it? Look, I'm just saying, all our lives seem to have been going to shit since he got that box. And then the conversation morphs into something else and just continues going on.
Charlie will actually like is part of the money that we have presumed set aside for travel and stuff like that, can he like buy a round of drinks for like that table without it interfering? Is that considered coin?
If you were to do it for the entire establishment, I
No,
would
he's
count
just
that
looking
as
to the
one.
people who are
If you're just
specifically on
doing
that
that
topic.
one table, roll me a resources. This isn't how it's supposed to be used, but roll me a resources.
That's fine.
The game has dice. You can kind of use them however you want.
Yeah, I'm the GM. Everyone else can just go suck it. What? So yes,
He has some coins.
you have enough to get
The captain paid him as a sailor.
Yep. He didn't pay you much though, because he was taking you for free.
Hey, enough for a beer. So
Yeah, enough for a few beers and a whiskey.
yeah,
And he told you about that this town has really good whiskey.
he'll stay away from the whiskey because he's been a soldier before and he knows better. He will buy a drink and he'll say, a friend of mine asked me into town after Ocean's health, but I haven't heard the story of what actually happened.
Look, it's a bit of a thing. This gentleman, he's been getting up on all of our arses, just because of some random thing that we can't quite understand. And like he was already getting a bit more to like, we need to up production, we need to be doing more and more, and we're doing some heavy logging and it feels a little much. And one day, this pale-looking fella, I mean, pale for Irish standards, so you know how pale that is. But a pale-looking fella with this big hood and this like cream-colored clothing came in and and said something to Ocean. No one was close enough to really hear what he was talking about. But he handed him this big box, big wooden crate about this big, and said, well, and said something to him about keeping it safe or something, and then just left him with it. Afterwards, he just, and then this weird, then afterward, like the next day or so, Ocean started to get very like McMullen started getting very paranoid, and just he started getting very much on everyone's case, and it's very confused. It's very unpleasant. We're
What was he
just
before
trying to
that?
do our job. He was already a little unpleasant, but now, like, he's watching everyone like dissecting what we're doing with this fervor. Where before he was just trying to get more money and make more money, and now it seems that he's like watching us and like everyone is trying to betray him, and it's awful.
Uh, well, thank you. Doesn't sound like it was much fun to relive.
I have another shift in like an hour. Not looking forward to it. I'm looking to get good and sloshed beforehand.
Careful with your accent.
Oh, I don't work in the axe area. I just push the things into the saw. Some days I think about lying down and calling it myself.
Charlie gives him a very understanding look, and says it's not worth it.
No, I know. I've got like 2 kids at home, and my wife is always wanting something.
There's always other work to be had. It doesn't always seem like it.
Ah, I'll be right, stranger.
Charlie, and he offers hand.
Nice to meet you, Charlie. I'm Louis.
I
Louis
should get back.
O'Moran.
Say that again.
Louis O'Moran.
Should probably get back to my friends, Louis, but thank you for the tale.
No problem. Just, keep your chin up.
Yeah, and he shakes the guy's hand and he does like whatever coin he has left to like get the guy a whiskey before going back to his table.
Yeah. He's got a very rough hand. Yours isn't very soft either. But you notice that it's that good woodworker's hand.
Yeah.
And that nice solid grip that you can only get from years on the job and trades.
And he comes back to the table with the others. And, he's very low tones as he kind of relates the entirety of the story as he could get it. Seems like there was some object that preceded it. Ocean was always a bit of a hard ass, but he's been temperamental and paranoid of late.
As Charlie's relaying the story, Anya's looking in the book.
It's not giving you anything.
And Lily would even be sitting there. That doesn't sound like a Doulahan.
Sounds like a cursed box, perhaps.
Sounds like a possession.
Oh,
What if
perhaps,
I mean-
yes.
can it be both?
I mean,
Can the dual hand be after something that's in the box and the box has something that's affected the ocean?
There's no rule that there is only one Vaesen, so
very true.
who's to
And
say?
Actually, that might be it.
Yeah.
I just
Perhaps men who give ocean bucks trying to dodge Dullahan pass off whatever object he's after to someone else. I don't know. I'll be right back. I'm going to talk to a person behind the bar.
Lily's Lily wants to more and more just go talk to Ocean. Even if
Well-
that means doing it alone.
No, yeah, I'll join.
Agate does head to the bar, and we'll do this bit first, then we'll. So who are you looking for behind the bar?
I'm just waiting for someone to come over to ask like a couple questions of briefly.
All right. Well, you got lucky. You got Mrs. O'Hallahan coming right over to you from behind the bar, going, "Hello, darling. Is there anything you need?"
Yes, hello. I had a question or two for you. I just arrived to town earlier today, looking to procure wood, perhaps for building project far off to the west. I heard of new sawmill open up here, but relatively, pardon me, relatively recent. It's been a long day.
Well, relatively recent is definitely a turn of phrase. I think you'd be saying it's been here for about a few years.
Oh,
It was here a few years beforehand, before it became Tranquil Pine Mill. And before Mr. O'Sheen McMullen took over.
oh,
Back then, it was a much smaller mill, and everything was much. It was. It seems that O'Sheen has forgotten the old ways. Really, that he doesn't seem all that interested in making sure that we are keeping kind to the spirits of nature and only taking what we need.
maybe word reach further out because he's more focused on business instead of the correct treatment of the land.
Well,
Say.
that does seem to be something.
Yes.
And all this trouble, just between you and I think all this trouble has to do with something that is just, I think he made the fairies angry.
Could be. I was just wondering if you could give me maybe a small map, or if you had the paper to write directions down. I just
Oh,
wanted to
yes,
figure out
dearie, of course. We can,
where
of course,
sawmill
give you a
is.
map. Oh,
Ah.
yes. Here's a little piece of the puzzle. And she pulls out a little piece of paper, and it is a map. It shows you all the major streets and things like that. It's not very well drawn. You have a suspicion that maybe Mrs. O'Hallahan drew the map herself.
Probably better than nothing.
But she does take out a nice piece of charcoal, something to mark the paper, and circles the areas that are like of interest, and she circles like where you've asked, such as the mill. She's also circled a couple other places. One of them is the town square you were just at, and of course the inn itself. And then she says, and I don't know if you're all that interested, or I don't know if you're all that interested, but if you're looking to pray or something, the new Catholic temple, or whatever they be calling it, the church. It's right over here. They call it the Ashen Grove.
Ah, uh, thank you so much.
Father Cormac seems to be very nice, although he seems to be a little overly invested in making us all, Christian. Personally, I still like some of the old Gaelic ways,
Oh yes, of course, yes.
But that's just my opinion.
Well,
She smiles.
Thank you so much for this. Is very helpful.
Oh, of course. Oh, no problem, dearie. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And she gives you a nice pat on the shoulder, gives you a nice smile and a wink, and then goes off to help other people.
Let's come back and sit down at the table and kind of show the map and talk about the places she circled on. Like, here is figure out where sawmill is finally. So we have some direction as to where to find ocean.
I think Lily was ready to do that next. Maybe that's where we head.
All right.
I say we
What-
go now.
So you all quickly down your drinks, not enough to make you at all tipsy. But you had to buy something. You were here. And before you left, you did talk to Miss O'Hallahan. And no, Miss O'Hallahan? Yeah, Mrs. O'Hallahan. And you've secured some rooms for the night. But you guys do start heading over toward the sawmill.
What's our time of day, by the way?
Considering the amount of time you've spent, it's beginning to get into the later afternoon.
Okay.
So I'd say about 4:30.
Given that there's this horse that, throws blood on people or whatever, seems relevant at night.
Yeah, no, it seems to happen more at night. While you're walking to the no, once you get to the sawmill, I'd like you to all roll me an observation. Okay, so Charlie and Anya, you notice it. This kind of the area in front of the sawmill has been heavily padded down with horse tracks. It seems a lot of the people here just walk places. Because it's a small town, you don't really need to get a horse everywhere. But this area in particular seems to have had a lot of horse traffic, but it doesn't seem to really go into the factory. It's kind of like it's watching from the outside. And Charlie and Anya, I'd like you to roll me an investigation.
Charlie is pointing them out to everybody else as well. So.
Then everyone can roll an investigation if this has been pointed out to everyone.
Finally one.
All right. So Anya and Lily, you both look at the tracks and you get this kind of little, like a little compulsion. It says, and a curiosity, just kind of, how old are these tracks? You wonder. And by visual, they are clearly several days old, and can't at all be older. Cannot be any newer than last night for a couple of them, couple sets. But as you look down a bit closer, you feel a heat coming off of them. Not a tremendously strong heat, but a heat. The kind of heat that you would have if a horse just left.
Just gonna scan the area and like towards the direction that said those tracks look to be going.
They seem to kind of be around the area and then they circle back and then walk back and walk towards the forest. And occasionally into town, but most part, they seem to come and go to the forest. except for about 10% of them, which go into town.
Anya will relay that information.
Lily will as well.
All right. Unless you guys have anything that you really want to do with this information at this exact moment.
Just one question. Are they circling the mill completely, or is it like the front of the mill for the most part?
It seems mostly to the door of the front of the mill, where the biggest entrance is.
Okay. Yeah,
Where people will be coming in and out mostly.
yeah, then Charlie will kind of gesture to see if we want to head into the middle of the ocean, or if we want to look to the forest.
Anya, like, just instinctively takes some steps towards the forest and is checking between trees.
Lily is headed to talk to Ocean.
Vigilance from Anya. And then we will start transitioning towards the... You can't be quite certain, but you think you see a pair of red somethings travel between the trees. And if you stare too hard, you start hearing a bit of a a very soft neighing sort of sound, but also an intense desire and need to turn around and stop looking.
She's gonna, like, as they head in, she's going to let the rest of the group know about the eyes. So the red eyes in the forest.
Then let's get our answers first from who we can.
All
I
right.
agree.
Charlie's nodding in agreement.
So you guys head in. You walk into a fairly busy and very tired and overworked looking staff. But you walk into a busy mill. Sounds of sawing and chopping and all sorts of different mill-based sounds. That sounded right. Currently going on. As you look around, clearly a little lost. Uh, a man in his early mid-30s, black hair, and a bit of scruff. The kind of thing that says, I haven't had the opportunity to shave for a few days. Walks up to you and goes, hello? What are you all looking for?
Ocean McMullen?
Oh, you're looking for the boss. Okay. Sorry, I'm Jonah Roach. Roche? I'll send you over to the... do you have an appointment with the boss? I mean, I don't want to...
He sent a
Um,
letter.
He'll be wanting to speak to us.
Oh, you're the people he's been waiting for. Okay, oh, thank God. Okay. Let's have you go over there. He's in his office over closer to the second floor.
Thank you.
No problem. Just, do what you're going to do soon. We all hate it here.
I'll try and help.
We'll see. And you guys start heading over to the office as Jonah leaves you to go yell at someone for slacking off.
Oh, Who wants to be the introducer?
Lily actually wanted to try because she wants to see if this is something she has dealt with.
Okay.
That's very well. Lead the way. Go on ahead.
Charlie's happy to be in the background and kind of watching the lumber mill floor while everyone's conversing.
You open the door.
Anya's kind of just gonna like stay close to Lily.
You open the door. And the thing that happens immediately is a glass shatters next to you as it is thrown quite a lot of force. Jonah! I told you not to let anyone in!
You sent us a letter asking for us.
Are you the people from the Society of Drowson?
Aye, we are.
Oh, took your sweet feckin' time getting here.
We got the letter and got right here.
Yeah, you took your sweet feckin' time getting here.
All right then.
So, what you gonna do about my problem? I said you'd fix it.
We need a little bit more information than that.
Oh, lassie da. Fantastic. I mean, what do you want to know?
When did it start?
Started about 2 weeks ago. Ever since that weird ass feckin' headwid and thing came in and gave us a box. He said, "Oh, it's a lovely thing that you done a lovely job." Same night, then see, I feel his presence behind me. It's just been getting worse.
Did you open the box?
No, he said not to look in the box. Also, it's nailed shut. I don't really want to see what's in the box. It had a weird smell coming from it. I just wanted to leave it alone. And then I also just felt this big thing that maybe it's not my place to open the box, even though it was gifted to me. The man said, "Don't open it yet." And I haven't opened it yet, but I don't know why I haven't. You know, I'm a little. I just sort of put the box away with the sort of other things that people have sent us.
And what about you? How else has your life changed?
And I feel it's just so stressful, you know, and these feckin' people aren't doing anything to help me with it. So I don't know what I'm doing. I get things right, and I just, look, I just want to make money, and this town had a large forest and a big opportunity for me to make some money from it. They didn't even know how to run a mill properly. I mean, and he just stares off in the distance for a little bit.
Turns to Lily. I think we needed to see Box in person
I agree.
before we continue forward.
May we take the box?
Well, I don't know why you'd want it, but you can. I mean, you can definitely. If just why not?
I mean, it might help you.
Sure, whatever. I don't really care. I just want this nightmare to be over. He's like and you see him clutching something that seems to be wrapped around his neck.
Are you alright?
No! Of course I'm not all right.
Are you ill?
But I haven't slept in like 12 days, but that doesn't have anything to do with anything.
Hmm.
I've just been holding, you know, ever since I got really lucky one night. See, I heard it. I heard a sound of something scraping at my door a few nights ago, and then one day, you see, I found a lucky thing. Man said it came from a leprechaun, and I don't normally buy into these sort of things, but I took it, and it's a little piece of thing, and he holds up a little golden coin pendant around his neck. Just gonna, and then ever since then, I've just been holding it and just hoping, and it seems to not be coming to the door anymore, which is lovely, so lovely.
See. Well, um, where exactly did you put that box?
Ah, it's in the house. Um, uh, it's near the church. You know, you'll find it there when you just, yeah. Just go. Just take my keys, and you'll find the box. Just take the box out and do whatever you're gonna do with it.
When did you get the pendant?
Like 10 days ago,
Same
when I
time
talked
as
to that person that said to call the society.
same time as you got the box.
No. Box was 14 days ago. No, I got this later. You can't have it. It's mine.
I don't want it. Who told you about the society?
I don't know. Some strange looking fella just came in. Didn't really get a. He came into interview for a job or something, and then and then I got, for some reason I got very comfortable with him. Like for the first time ever, my heart rate has gone down a bit, and I've actually relaxed slightly. And then I accidentally spoke that I've been having this problem, and then he said, "Oh, and what you need to do is to call is to write a letter to the Society of Drowson in Salaka, in Castle Greenwood, and then it'll eventually someone will come to help you soon." He didn't get the job though, It just wasn't quite right. Wasn't quite experienced enough.
Well, it's good you have let us know. We'll take box and go from there. One last
Yeah.
question for you. Who did you procure the pendant from? Maybe good to talk to them as well. The
I don't know.
origin
They
of the item.
left.
Oh, like from kind of traveling trader type of thing.
So it was the same person that told me to mail the society.
Ah, I see. I see.
He left to some other place once they didn't get the job. Didn't seem that broken up about it.
All right. Well, in any case, we'll take it from here. Thank you for the extra information.
Yeah, no problem. Oh
From the
no, go ahead, you small fella.
Can you say that again?
He's telling you to speak up, Charlie.
I muted myself before I said that. Sorry. Um, he Charlie will gesture to where he's got his like hand clamped around the medallion, and he says, "I don't want to take that." He says, "But I'm an artist, and I'd like to see it. Can I draw? Can I look at it long enough to draw it?"
And he holds out his hand a little bit to let you look at it.
And Charlie's gonna take out, a piece of the paper from like one of his journals. And he'll say, "If you can just put it on the desk, then I can trace it, and it'll be out of your hair in a second."
He doesn't at all remove it from his neck. He just kind of leans down enough so that he can put the thing on the piece of paper.
And he puts the paper over it and just uses charcoal to trace it to do like the quick imprint of it. And turns
Yeah.
around and does the backside as well. He doesn't actually ever touch it himself.
Well, by looking at it, it looks just like a gold coin. There's nothing particularly special about it. There's nothing written on the coin that would be of any real value. seems to be a general picture of a rainbow on it. Or some kind of arc-shaped thing with several segments. But looking at it, and I'm just going to give this to you, it's just a gold coin. It looks like has been welded to have that has a little hole in it, so that a chain could go through it and hold it. Yes, there's not a lot of. Sorry, yeah.
Should we go get the books now? If you're all done with what you're doing, Charlie.
Yeah.
And before you go, he goes, "Oh, also, I've never gotten a very good look at the thing, but I know someone who has. Um, might not be all that talkative, but he's in the church. Can't see anymore, but had to fire him. Can't have a blind man cutting things."
I mean, it does. I suppose it does pose a safety hazard for sure. What is this man's name? Ask him some questions, most likely as
Yes.
well.
Of hell's bells, I didn't actually write him a name. His name is Reuben. Reuben O'Farley.
All right. Yes.
He's probably, you'll find him probably in the church, just praying away, asking for his sight back, and all that nonsense,
All right. Thank you again for answering all of the questions. We will leave you to run your business for now, and we'll come back if we have any more questions or when there is more significant update to the situation.
I'll fucking fix my problem. And then he just closed, and the door closes on you. He closes the door on you. Does not seem like a very nice individual.
Charlie, once the door is closed, it says, I think that man is the root of his own problems.
Yeah, potentially. But,
Agreed.
I mean, we're paid to be ghost hunter, not therapists, so.
I think he might be under a curse.
Anya's
Oh.
kind of just
It's quite possible.
slowly walking. To guys, let's walk it down.
Yes. Let's go get these bucks.
Jonah does point you towards the direction of the warehouse where it's kept. Actually, no, Jonah points you towards the house, so you have a better idea of what Oshin said. Because that is where I said it was. It's in his house. To fast forward a bit, you guys make it to the house. You get in very easily. You see a box next to the bed. It's not that hard to open. There is a lock on the box, so it needs to be picked. It needs to be picked, really. So would someone be so kind as to give me a lock picking roll?
What?
Do I do that?
No, is it?
Is this-
Sorry, that is. Give me a stealth roll. Someone should have lock picking tools. Is the idea?
Oh no.
I'll just give it to Anya. With some of the tools you have in your medical bag, make a good substitute for a lockpick. And you open the box. Everyone's gathered around in a very nice sort of manner that as things kind of peer up a little bit over top of your shoulders, as you are all looking at a skull carved full of strange Gaelic runes. And with that, that is the end of our show tonight. And we made it
No.
to two full hours. Yeah. And yes, I understand the no feeling of that. But yes, no. Thank you so much. That was our episode, Headed to Greener Pastures. Headed. Uh,
Aw.
yeah, I spent a long time on that. Headed to Greener Pastures on Vaesen, the Devil You Know. I would like to begin our goodbyes by saying thank you, and thank you to my wonderful players. I would like to say thank you to Siosa for bringing Charlie and revealing some of his backstory, even though it wasn't very much. I'm still very pleased you did. Thank you for Agate for rolling so well tonight. Thank you, Rory, for Agate for rolling so well tonight, and just managing to and letting me write some very sarcastic writing in, in the medical journal. Thank you, Ruth, for bringing Anya and seeming to be one of the more level-headed of the people here. Thank you, Lily. Thank you, Sarah Sands, for bringing Lily. I'm very upset you kept drawing the death card because what is this monster but a symbol of death? Anyways, thank you
Flying off
so
the
much.
deck.
Thank you so much to our phenomenal producer, Hellhounds. Truly, the show wouldn't be possible without you. Thank you to chat. I saw Bat Kyle, Bison, Gloriosa, a lot of people chatting tonight, and I found what you were writing very funny. I couldn't react
Oh, yeah.
very much to it, although I wanted to so much. It was
I had to tell
great. I
Sarah
loved
to
it,
get out of chat.
as you should.
Schrodinger Chapeau was my favorite.
Oh, Schrodinger Chapeau was great. I loved that. It's oh no,
I
it
love
has
a
his
good
favorite
side
hat.
chat
tonight.
It's on his head, but it's got his favorite hat. The box.
I love
I
the map. Take a map. Take a map.
I love the image of a group of ghosts crowded around Anya, who deals with the dead but hadn't believed in ghosts until this point. Just trying to be, hey, listen to us. Something's got to get through. But she's so just logic, and I have never, this isn't in my textbooks.
I haven't read
Ideal-
this before. This isn't peer reviewed.
Yeah, like ideal. I save people from death and deal with cadavers. Nothing happens after that.
Yes.
So yeah.
And one of the last thank yous I've got is thank you. Yes, you, the viewer, whether you watched us live or on the VOD here on Twitch or came to see us on YouTube. If you watched us with us on Twitch, please be sure to give us a follow. A subscription would also be very nice, but that's harder on Twitch.
And thank
we are
you
here several
to-
days, nights a week. I am not done yet. Wait to thank me. I know what you're going for. I'm
Sorry.
sorry. No, I'm sorry. I'm
For
just
once,
being-
I will bow to go.
Yes. And if you found us via YouTube, please be sure to give us a like, comment on what you liked, hit that subscribe button, all that fun jazz. It may also help to ring that bell so you can see when we upload. Like Vaesen of this game, we tend to be very erratic and unpredictable about when we show up and upload things. That will always be in there. Once you write it in, it never leaves. And also, thank you for coming to watch this again. It has been a while since we've been able to do this because of health reasons, but I'm really happy to be back. Other than that, as long as I haven't forgotten anything, and I know, thank you, me. Yeah, me. Please be sure to, please just please always be sure, as we say at Dirty 20 Gaming, please be nice to each other. Take care.
Night,